I'm Pilates Master Nikki. Let's get to know some Pilates terms and jargon. So one of the most basic movements in Pilates is called a C curve. A C curve is basically a contraction of your stomach that's nice and strong that is going to move your hips without adding the exhale of your breath, which can make your stomach contraction even stronger. We want to be able to just contract the abdominal muscles independent of the breath. And when you make that sharp squeeze and contracting at the bottom of your spine, right at the belly button, it sequences the movements so that you are always using the stomach first. So I'm going to show you a C curve laying down. So it's one of the most easiest ways for you to understand that. So you can lay down, make a space between your feet, bend your knees. So you want to just take your abs and contract them downward. And then these. Contract the ab. The goal is to get a bend right at the belly button, right across the belly button there. So I'm squeezing my abs and then releasing. And if you notice, there's a little tiny tilt of my hip, but I'm not adding the back of my legs or my butt, my arms pressing down. We can add a whole bunch of other things, but a pure curve is just your stomach. How strong is it? Is it strong enough to bend the bottom of your spine right at the belly button without holding your breath? And then you release it. So pelvic tilt, curve, squeezing the abs. And then I would add my arms pressing down, my hamstrings and my butt. And then I'm going to roll up, holding that bend, and then roll down, and then release. You can try a C curve seated. Seated is also super easy to do to relax your back. And let's just say that you're at work. Slide your hips forward to the edge of the chair. Hopefully it won't roll away. Space out your feet and just bring your hands to the edge of your chair. So you're going to do that same thing that we did laying down. You're going to squeeze the abs, push the stomach inward. When the stomach goes inward, the spine makes space in those lumbar discs and vertebra at the bottom. So that relieves pressure in the spine by just contracting the abs. If you put your hands low on the chair, it helps you. So a C curve is how hard you can squeeze your stomach and bend at the belly button. Then we go into a pelvic tilt, sometimes adding hamstring, ass, arms, and other things. So that's that. Monkey grip. When we hold the bar or when we hold on to the handles, our monkey grip is really about the thumb being on top of the bar with the other fingers, as opposed to the thumbs underneath the bar, making a letter C with your hand. You want your thumb to be not this way, but on top. There's a whole technical reason about that thumb interdigiting up to the neck, and it's going to lift up your shoulders, which is something that we don't want. So monkey grip is thumbs with other fingers. When you're working and doing the Pilates classes, if your shoulders pop up because they want to, that's about the top of the stomach trying to take over, and it's trying to recruit its good friend, the neck and the shoulders. So your shoulders pop up and the top of the stomach takes most of the work. So we always want to have our awareness of the shoulder as far down away from the ear so that it forces the bottom of the stomach to do more work. So shoulders down is super important. Your elbows and your knees will tend to go too straight and lock. Your knees and elbows lock so that the muscles throw the work onto the joints. We don't want to strain the joints and overwork the joint. We want to strengthen the muscle. So the term will be soft knees, which is just a little bend. And if you're not sure, you can always bend extra. That's fine. But locked knees, where they're seated or laying or standing, is never good. Locked arms is also never good. The wrists, when you work, should always be on the same line hand and forearm so that your wrist is straight as opposed to bending the wrist downward or upward. So we'll say that you're bending at the wrist, yeah? We want that wrist to be straight so that all of the work goes into the arm and into the stomach, and you don't stress out your wrists. Modern life, our wrists are always texting and mousing, and they're under a lot of duress. Then the last thing we're going to talk about today is your leg position. The leg positions are basically three. Your legs and feet are either kneecaps and toes upward in what we call parallel, or from the hip, the heels are inward and the toes are outward in what we call a V. It's technically called external rotation, but I call it ballerina turnout so that you know if I say ballerina turnout. And it's whatever turn you get from the top of the hip without forcing it from the knee or the ankle. And then the other one that we do is pigeon-toed or medial rotation. Again, it's from the hip and the whole leg, the knee, ankle, and foot turn inward. We do some things in that position. And then, of course, your feet are either flexed, flat like the head of Frankenstein so that we can remember, or they're pointed. Flexed and pointed. This is Master Pilates Nikki. Thank you for joining, and I look forward to seeing you in class.